Jolie here for the English Mixed Martial Arts Association. Dan Hardy is joining me at the moment. We've just had the youth squad trial day, new coaching team on board as well. Good to see you here. How are you?
Really good, really good. Great to be here. You know, I mean, this is our gym. So to get all the squad here and get the mat filled and see the talent that's coming through, it's brilliant. I couldn't not stay and watch because, I mean, the standard. These kids are unreal.
First time here myself. Really good facilities, but yeah, talk about today and the progression of ever, obviously, with this new coaching team on board for the youths as well. It's not just the seniors that we're looking to promote and getting them into the pros. We're starting young.
Absolutely. You know, we want to make sure everybody's got access to mixed martial arts. You know, the youth squad, they're sparring, no headshots, you know what I mean? Keep it safe for the kids, but make sure they're learning their craft at the same time. We've got a great squad of coaches here led by Adam Ventre, who ran the session today. Really impressive. You know, the squad of coaches held it together well. The students really showed up and performed really well. And it's going to make it difficult to pick a squad ultimately. You know, that's the best position we want to be in right now, is that we've got too many fighters for the squad. Because I'm looking here and thinking, right, there are some kids here ready for this year, some for the year after, some for the year after. We've got generations worth of mixed martial artists on the same mat. You know, and from my perspective as a PFL, you know, as the director of fighter ops, I'm looking at these kids thinking to myself, in 3-4 years time, they're going to be turning pro. I'm going to be signing some of these kids to their PFL contracts. So, you know, to know that they're in this system already with the EMMAA, they're going to go through this process and get competition against other people from the 4 nations. Brilliant, really good.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit more, because it seems like you mentioned it as a scouting mission in some ways for yourself, and then a pathway for these guys as they go on into the pros.
Well, this is the thing. There's always been a disconnection with the amateur and the pros, right? Like, EMMAA are doing a really good job of facilitating competition for amateurs around the world. You know, we got, 17, 18 going out to the championships. That's a lot of fighters getting good competition from around the world. Great experience. But what I want to now do with the PFL is to start bringing those amateurs into the pro ranks for their first couple of fights on a PFL card. So they're stepping straight into a well-run, high-level professional show. And PFL Europe, that's what it's all about. So, you know, the amateurs are going to feed the pros, and the pros are going to feed the world championships. And, you know, we've got a clear path to the top, from the kids here today that were, you know, 10, 12, 13 years old, all the way up to when they decide to turn pro. We'll be able to make sure they're looked after and protected and get good opportunities.
Exciting for these young fighters. We'll end off just a bit on the 4 nations, obviously coming up towards the end of this year. It's going to be exciting again. Second year in a row. Yeah,
second year in a row. You know, and the thing is, we had so many applicants last time. It was a relatively small competition last time around, but this time around we're going to have more cages, more people involved. It's just going to be a martial arts festival ultimately. You know, that's the best thing about these tournaments. We get 150, 200 martial artists all in the same place at the same time, locked in, watching each other's fights, learning from one another, and progressing towards better things. It's amazing that the kids have got this kind of stable foundation to compete on, and to be a little part of it's a real pleasure.
Brilliant. Thanks, Dan. Nice one. Adam Ventre joining me today. Good to see you, mate. We've just seen the squad trial day for the youth team. How did you find getting to know the team?
The team, it was impressive, if I'm honest. The talent was a lot high. It's going to be hard as a coach to pick a whole team, but it was a lot of good talent, and it shows the UK's got some of the best talent out there.
What made you want to get on board? We haven't yet officially spoke to you. We got obviously a statement with Team EMMAA, but what made you want to get on board, Adam?
I was just trying to give back to the sport. Like, this sport's given me everything in my life. It's given me all everything. So it's time to give back to the kids now and help them and breed the next generation of talent, really.
What are you looking for out there? What were you looking for today?
Grapplers and wrestlers more than anything. With the EMMAA rules, it's more suited to wrestlers and grapplers than it is strikers. So we're looking for good grapplers and wrestlers. The striking was good as well. Like, you could win a match by striking, but most likely with the other countries that are more heavy wrestling based, you need good jiu-jitsu.
Have you looked at like this tournament styles, etc. as well, fighting multiple times?
Yeah, I've had a look over to just research really, and it shows it's a lot of grappling based more than it is striking based. Like, there's no headshots. You're not really going to get stoppages with leg kicks and body shots unless you're a killer with body shots and leg kicks. Do you know what I mean? But so wrestlers and grapplers is the main one for this.
How are you going to pick the squad, and how soon do you think this is going to happen?
We're going to have a discussion with the coaching staff, me, Loz, Sam and Tom. We've been discussing today. There's been a few standouts today, but really it's going to be hard. So we're going to have a little discussion in the week about who we think and have some ideas. We might have some not might be able to. It's going to be hard to pick, but we'll do it.
What did you make of today overall?
Today was brilliant. Today was a great day. Good day for the future of English MMA as well.
Okay, looking forward then, we speak about IMAFs, etc., etc. Do you have anyone in particular today that you think is going to be a standout?
There was quite a few. I don't want to be a favouritism and all that stuff, but there's a few from like Jack Rimmer was good. Alfie Wacko and Joe Wacko were good. There's a few. There's a lot of them, but everyone's on par with each other as well. But there was some. Like, these are two lads, Logan and... It's very hard, there's so many names. But there was a few of them that would, like, stand out, like.
Yeah, we'll leave the rest for the announcement, but pleasure to have you here today on board with Team Emma, and we look forward to seeing you coaching in the future. Okay, back with Paul Reed. We've just had the squad trial day, the youth day, down here at HW1 in Loughborough. How did you find it, first of all? Good to be back with the squad.
Look, it's nice to be back with a youth squad day, and I think I said... Before, we had a bit of time when we were engaging with the youth squad, so nice to get back out engaging with them, get a brilliant turnout today, I have to say. And then more importantly, seeing the new team apply themselves as the coaching team. So all in all, really happy. Head of the Worlds, like, exciting time.
How did you come to make the decision on the new coaching team? Because
well, the decision's made because, one, they applied. Two, it helps that we know the credibility, integrity of them all as coaches. They're all renowned, well, one, MMA athletes, two, then having great kid squads. So kind of it was an easy pick. And I think they all applied separately for the head coach job, but like, you need a team. Like, it's a tough job. There's a lot of kids to deal with. There's a lot of rules, regs, admin. There's like, you need a team of people. And for us, it was the ideal situation.
good to get this underway then with the new team and everything like that. We spoke a bit about that with Adam and the other guys today. So I want to get your perspective on the Four Nations. We've obviously got that coming up. What's the latest, Paul? Good to have it back for the second year in a row.
Yeah, look, number one, last year was great. But of course, this year, it's our venue. We're in charge of the venue and everything goes on. So whilst a big shout out Fit Expo, it kind of worked well for us. It was a launch pad, but it's about taking it up a level and us being in control and also bringing the youth in and giving them an opportunity. So where we're up to is, well, we've got a venue, the perfect venue because it holds 2 cages, ultimately, good fans venue, well-known venue at Cage Warriors Academy, Wales. Secondly is 30th of April is cut-off time. Just to be clear, we've had over 200 applicants, and that's just from England, Wales and Scotland. We're still waiting for Ireland to come in this week, so kind of shows the popularity of it. Overall, 3 days of competition. Dan Hardy there scouting for PFL, which is enormous for amateurs to understand as well, just so you know. Like, he's going to be there looking who's the best amateurs there, potentially due to turn pro, they can get a contract. And make no bones about it, that's not words, that's true. You know, Dan's there to scout under PFL, so like, what's a big incentive to come and compete? But ultimately for me, like, get a stage where people can compete over 3 days. The best officials, Mark Goddard and his team, you know, UFC standard. Chris Lamb and his team, UFC standard. You know, everything we do will be high level, you know, safety of competition, good venue. Hopefully everybody enjoys it. And we've got, you know, a lot of guest appearances as well. So, like, should be a good venue, good event. Yeah,
for sure. I understand we're involved in a sport and wellness program as well. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I think the announcement's about to come, but like, something I'm super proud of, because sport and wellness, for those who don't know, just check sportandwellness.org, are a mental health for sport charity organisation, but with specialist experts in the arena of mental health, really. So we have funded and invested in support for 100 athletes to have access to all of these specialists for all things mental health. And just to be clear, mental health, anxiety, depression, relationship issues, you know, issues that getting in trouble outside of the gym, addiction problems. These are all the things now that we give English MMA members, community, including our own people, you know, the people that work on the English MMA team. We have 100 people now have access to specialists. And I think for all the things we try and do in duty of care, giving some real support, that people have got peace of mind, that have got somebody to speak to now from a mental health point of view, like, I'm really proud of.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's still quite a silent thing in fight sports, particularly because it's such a manly sport. You've got to have ego, and sometimes you could be seen as weak if you do talk about these things. But it's great that we've got these opportunities.
Look, I think however you look at MMA sport in general, the demographic of get involved in combat sports, all the things that they go through. Mental health has been spoken about well enough in the, look at Paddy Pimblett's speech, for example. Like, sometimes we don't talk about it enough. Male, female, this is for 16 over, but from a young 16-year-old to a grown, 30-year-old, like, sometimes hard to talk. So when you can go out to somebody unbiased, doesn't really know you, just there to listen to you and help you, I mean, that's massive for me, because what we create is, something for our members, the team, and everybody to reach out to with specialist experts. Somebody you can talk to or listen to you, but somebody's an expert in that field as well.
Brilliant. Thank you, Paul. Okay, Jordan Little, thank you for joining me here at the Youth Squad Trial Day in Loughborough. What brings you here today, bro?
I wanted to come along to see the youth and see how they're building. They're going to be moving up into like the men's and seniors division one day, and it's good to see the future of the sport.
What did you make of the youngsters?
There's some animals on the mats, let's be honest. I wish I knew what this sport was at their age. They're all going to be building their way up, and they're going to be the future of this sport and going to go the whole way.
What age did you get into it? I know you did rugby in the past as well. When was it you realised this was your true passion?
I've known MMA since about 16, but I never started training properly until I was 22, and I fell in love with it then, training full time. And I wish I knew what it was when I was a lot younger and got involved.
Yeah, we've obviously seen you out at the Worlds. Some great fights you were in there as well. What's your plan going forward, Jordan?
We've got the Four Nations coming up, so I'll be there. We've got the Euros, which I hope to be a part of one last time before I make the step up to pro later this year, the start of next year.
Okay, so we've obviously seen you fight as well. The activity for you has been non-stop. It's been crazy, to be honest.
Oh, 100%. I think I'm probably the most active fighter in the UK in the amateur divisions. I just want to take that over to the pro level. Obviously, it'll slow down slightly, but I still want to be one of the most active.
Yeah. Talk about what happened after the Worlds, going straight into fights. You barely had a day's rest.
Yeah, after the Worlds, I had a few weeks off. Well, still training, but not as intense. And then I had my first fight back a couple of weeks later. So, that was really good. Got a good win, first round finish. Now I'm looking at getting the Four Nations. I've got another Cage Warriors Academy fight, the Euros, and anything else that my coach lines up.
Should we stay in amateur for a little bit longer before you go pro first?
Yeah, so I want to do the Euros one more time. I really believe that I can win that. Take that step up and then move over to pro.
We're also involved in a new sport and wellness program. Just tell us your thoughts on that. It seems really thoughtful and insightful.
Yeah, I think this is a great opportunity for athletes and coaches that are part of EMMAA to have 24-hour support to be able to talk about personal life, family, financial and legal, where you might not have that opportunity to talk to people and get that help. A lot of people hold this stuff in, so having that opportunity and having that connection is something new, and it's a really big opportunity people need to take advantage of.
As a fighter, from that perspective, how do you think it can help you out? Because a lot of people in fight sports don't necessarily feel like they have a place to speak because it's such a macho sport, isn't it?
Well, to put it in one perspective, camp is a very lonely time. At one point, you've got people around you, but you're also kind of on your own going through that camp, and you've got your own personal life going around it, and you like to keep things on the low. You don't want to be stressing your coaches, your teammates, and your family. So it's nice to know that you've got someone there that you could go to that isn't going to worry about your camp, worry about your fighting, worry that your head's not in the right place, and make sure that you do have that support. So from a personal perspective, I've gone through things recently that have been quite stressful, and I've had to fight, and I didn't have that. And I think if I'd had it available, I would have definitely have taken it, because I've had to try and focus on that while I fight. And it would have been nice if it just opened up, and I didn't feel like my family was it was in the right time and the right place to talk about.
It's amazing. It's good to hear your insight, and obviously for any other fighter that wants to get involved, we will share links to that as well. So thank you so much for that one.